All right, man. It's Freeform Rock Podcast After So. Jerry, I'm gonna hit you because Black Spinner Circle talked about this last night, and Al bolted on us because of Paul Diano. He was supposed to be on our show last night on BS sessions, but that's okay because the guy is a legend. Jerry, talk about Paul Diano, man.
Yeah, I mean, a tragic loss to Iron Maiden fans. You know, such fucking just classic albums. I mean, you got Killers, which is just that fucking album cover, first of all. It's just badass. Then this fucking Made in Japan album fucking is fantastic. And then he got his this debut album here, which is fucking pretty awesome. I mean, great fucking voice for them in the early going. Um, Only 66. The guy had unfortunately, as I talked about last night, he had a lot of medical issues, man, the last, few years, last many years of his life, actually. I mean, he had sepsis, which hurt his immune system a little bit. I think did he have a liver or kidney or some kind of transplant? I can't remember. And
He
it,
also was battling diabetes for a long time as
diabetes,
well.
yeah. And
Yeah,
he was a heavy drinker, and you can tell he wasn't exactly in the greatest shape.
right.
But
Hey, whiskey helps
what
diabetes.
I what pisses me off though, I'm gonna talk about Iron Maiden right now a little bit, is the what's out there is that Iron Maiden, the guys don't give a shit about Paul Diano, which is so far from the fucking truth.
Mhm.
They're always visiting, they're always talking to him. Paul even said it himself, me and Bruce, we're friends, we like each other. You always see people say they don't like each other, this and that. That's just a bunch of horse shit. And I'm sure they're doing their best to take care of him, giving him money when needed. They're always had pictures of them hanging out with each other, somewhere. So I hate when that happens, and the
Iron Maiden
topic,
paid for his surgeries, man.
yeah, the topic of the Bruce and Paul thing is just so fucking old. I mean, I get it. I say you like Paul better. I get it. What's wrong with liking both? You know what
Right.
I
Yeah, what's
mean?
Exactly.
wrong with like Sammy and David, right?
Well, that's a different story. But um, like again, I'm a Maiden nut swinger, so I like Blaze Bailey albums. So maybe I'm being impartial again. But I just think it's ridiculous why we can't like them both. You know what I mean? I loved Paul's two albums with him. I loved the Made in Japan. I loved Bruce's albums, just about every one he's done, except for Dance with Death. That's the only thing I really
I
gotta
like
say
Dance with
shitty
Death.
album. It
I
would
like
be
Dance
that one.
with
It's
Death.
just, I
Mm.
mean, they're not. I don't think they're full of themselves. Their music may be a little pretentious, but you don't hear them always. Well, maybe Bruce a little bit, but you don't hear the
They
other guys just
they ain't
rambling on
Radiohead.
about how great they are. Maybe Bruce a little bit, maybe, I don't know. But I just think the especially now Iron Maiden's getting bad press. They're like toxic to the groups now. You know what I mean? It's like, oh man, we're not supposed to like Iron Maiden anymore. The newer stuff I'm talking about, which I just think is so ridiculous in my opinion. And you know, and Paul and Bruce are both great singers. Paul, like I said, contributed two great albums and a live album. I have a couple bootlegs too of them, which is fantastic. But let's like them all. Why not? With that being said, rest in peace, Paul Diano, man. Thank you for contributing to one of my favorite bands, two great albums, which if those weren't released, I don't think, Bruce would, and, the other albums wouldn't be. So you have to respect the seed of the band. And I really do. And tragic loss, rest in peace. Uh, my, condolences to the family and the band because I'm sure they're a little, heartbroken about it as well.
Mhm.
And I saw a video of Bruce, stopping the show for a minute and trying to get people to, give Paul, a few minutes of silence before they continued. So, you know, like them all, man. Maiden's my favorite band. Let's just enjoy their fucking music, Paul and Bruce. And thank you one more time for Paul Diano for the great music. And rest in peace, pal.
Yeah, I have no problem with Paul Diano. I liked him. I'm just a Bruce fan. So I go to the Bruce stuff. I like Since It's You. I like Book of Souls. I like those albums. I think they're really good. I have no problem with that. What do you think about that, Andy?
Well, of course, I started off with Bruce because I was introduced to Maiden with a number of the Beast. But I do have to say that the two Paul albums are my top four Iron Maiden albums, with a Maiden debut being my number two and Killers being my number four favorite. So that's how I feel about those two front albums. I think they're fantastic, and I probably like them even more now because I'm really respecting Paul's way of singing. He sang completely different from Bruce. He sang with a more of a spitfire vocals, and it was just different. And that doesn't take away anything from the Bruce years. I mean, it is what it is. He was there for the first two albums. I think he wanted to leave. I think management wanted him to leave as well. So there were butting heads at the time, and of course Harris is the leader of the band, and Harris wanted to go in a different direction. And I think he always admired Bruce from afar because he was in Samson. Those two bands almost came up together through the new wave of British heavy metal. One of them making it a whole lot bigger than Samson. So I'm just glad that we have both singers now. I can't say anything about the Blaze Bailey era because I've never heard those albums. I've just completely skipped them, but I think it is something that I am going to visit. I have been curious about it, but today I got stuck. Well, not stuck, but there's this Apple release called it's not an Apple release, but I never heard of it. But it was Iron Maiden, the BBC archives, and it's like 2.5 hours of just live shows by both Bruce and Paul. And there's a Blaze show in there too, because it said that there's an no, wait a minute. I bought this 5 CD pack today, and one of them's live from the X Factor tour. Now, is that Blaze?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so I'll be getting that in the mail um, in the next week. So I'm excited to hear how that sounds like because they go from 81 to the X Factor with 5 different CDs, different shows. So I'm going to check that out. And if y'all didn't catch it, we did a special show on Paul Diano last night um, where we did a vinyl battle between the Iron Maiden debut against Killers. And it was a very good show. And it was three. It was three for the debut album, three for Killers, and there were four ties. So
Okay.
that just shows you how great those two albums
Yeah.
are.
I put that up in free form. I said, Almost Human 56 did a thing on Paul Diano.
Yeah,
Black
yeah, like
Spinner Circle did a Paul Diano, and then we did the SNL episode, the SNL
Yeah, I
things.
promised to watch.
And
I promised to watch that, Andy. It's just that my eyes were on
we
fire after the show last
we
night.
had three great episodes last night, and
yeah,
everybody should check them all out.
Yeah, I agree, man.
yeah. Well,
Cross promote.
we usually don't do Thursday shows, but I was out of town until yesterday morning. I finally
Mm.
got back from Arizona, and I was speaking to Al Tuesday or Monday. He said we really need to do something for Paul Diano, and I didn't want to wait till next week. We had to do something
Yeah,
as
he
soon as
was
I got
supposed
back.
to be on the SNL show, but I understood that he needs to do his own show with that. That it was
Yeah.
cool. I was fine with that. But Mooger, what do you think about Paul Diano, man?
I think Paul Dano was great. You got to think where I came into Iron Maiden was all of the, MTV music videos. So when I was watching, the Hard 30 or whatever after school or the Headbangers Ball, which was only 30 minutes, and they had like 5 videos or 4 videos and 5 commercials or whatever. I saw Flight of Icarus. I saw Run to the Hills. I saw, um, you know, I saw all the Bruce Dickinson era.
Mhm.
And then one day they played a Paul Diano live. And I was like, who the hell is that guy? This isn't the singer of Iron Maiden. Bruce Dickinson's the singer of Iron Maiden. So I'm sorry, I was stupid. I didn't think
Hmm.
that they had a different singer besides Bruce Dickinson when I first was ever introduced to Iron Maiden. And I didn't like Paul Diano. I was like, this guy sounds like shit. This guy does not sound like Bruce Dickinson. It's like, this guy's horrible. Okay, this is 12-year-old Mooger. Okay, this is 12-year-old Mooger. I'd only heard Bruce Dickinson. Fast forward, and somebody gave me Killers. Somebody gave me Iron Maiden, and they were like, listen to these Diano records. Tell me he sucks now. Stupefied. Stupefied at how good he was. And how it was just a different feel. It was like he was so good. And Bruce is so good, well, as we all know. Who cares, And Blaze, we get all those people. But Bruce, not Bruce, I'm sorry. But Paul had such a distinctive sound and energy to his voice. And those two records have become some of my favorite Iron Maiden records, even though I will go on and on and on about the Bruce records. I mean, there's so many of them, but these first two records, somebody in this group, and I'm sorry I've lost it, said if it wasn't for these first two, you wouldn't have the Bruce era, because these first two records launched them enough. Steve Harris wanted to change directions. Okay, now you've got enough clout to a point with the record label. Let's bring in a new singer and kick Paul out, whatever. And rest in peace, this guy who went through so many health issues, went to the extreme of singing in a chair just so he could bring the metal to the masses. And I swear to God, this guy lived it up to his final day. He wasn't giving it up, man. That's metal.
And he always seemed upbeat. He always seemed upbeat in interviews, even on stage, joking around, stuff like that. So yeah,
he was a solid dude, and I think the media loved to pit those people together, against each other.
Yeah,
and there was nothing but respect and love and admiration between all of them the entire time. And Paul Diano didn't have anything really bad to say about Bruce. Bruce never said anything bad about Paul.
They said that was bullshit. They liked
because it was the media. Media loved to eat that shit up. And because they kept quiet about it, or just did, Bruce isn't the kind of guy to ever entertain media, and nor is Paul. And it's like, it wasn't until the later days of multimedia or internet media that interviews started to come out, and I still don't ever remember one bad word between them being said.
Right.
You had the fans saying well, Paul Diano is sucked and Bruce is superior. Well, okay, that's Inquirer bullshit. That's not what the band thought. Honestly, that's not what the fans thought. I had two perfect records with Paul, and I had several more great records with Bruce. Hey, I think that just makes me a lucky fan. I get best of both worlds. So, Mark, best of both worlds.
I'm not a big
Dealer.
I'm not a big Paul Diano fan. I'm a huge Bruce fan.
No. When I said best of both worlds, I was kind of referencing
Sammy Hagar rules. Yeah.
Two great Van Halens in my life.
Oh, I got some Alex Van Halen news in this after show. But Tim, talk about Bruce, man.
First time, see, I'm unlike everybody here, it seems. First time I ever heard Maiden was their debut album. My brother brought it home, and I was floored. And I think I was, I don't know what, 1988?
Yeah, it came out in 80.
Yeah, 1980.
Something like something around here. And I was like, wow. And then Killers came out, and I was really wow. And then I heard Number of the Beast, and the first time I heard it, I was like, I didn't think anything really different. But then I listened to it again, and I was like, well, this singer found some high notes. He found an octave or two more than he had before, and found out, it was a different singer. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But I never really heard much between Bruce and Paul as far as who was better. I heard more about like who was better, Clive Burr or Pickle McBrain, but never
Clive
about
Burr is better.
Paul or Bruce. You know, and okay, I think they're great albums. I really do. I think I don't know what happened, you know, to get rid of him, but I like Battlezone that he was in. I thought that was a good band that should have gone further than what it went. You know, but in music business, who the fuck knows? You know, you can be the perfect band and still not make jack squat. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
it's, you know, who knows? But
We know many of those, don't we, Tim?
oh, plenty,
Yeah.
plenty.
And there, and then
know-
there's these shitty bands that go out there and conquer the world and make
Yeah.
millions.
You know, so you know, who knows, man? It's a big juggling act, you know.
It's a big machine, man.
But I
And
will say this: when Adrian Smith left Iron Maiden, mid '80s, early '80s,
Early 90s.
Yeah.
it was late. It was
no,
late.
no,
It
no,
was
it's
late
the
'80s.
the '80s because
No, it was after No Prayer for the Dying.
After
Yep.
No Prayer for the Dying.
Somewhere in Time hadn't come out yet.
No,
And
no,
he
no,
had
no.
this
no.
song.
No
He had
Prayer
this
for the Dying.
song called "Wasted Years."
That's
Right.
Adrian.
Wasted Years was there, and then the next one was Fear of the
Seventh
Dark,
Son.
and the next one after
No,
that,
next one was Seventh Son.
no, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, then Fear of the Dark, and then
And No Prayer
No
for the
Prayer
Dying.
for the
Prayer for the Dying.
Dying is when Adrian exited.
Yeah, Yannick Gurus came in and became a clown.
But anyway, what I'm trying to say is Adrian Smith was up around my area looking because he was looking to start a solo band.
Mm.
And
He left after Seventh Son, actually.
He actually
Wasn't
recruited
on No Prayer
a
for
good
the
buddy of mine to play drums on it. He had turned him down, but he recruited him. He was actually in the band for however long he was in. Then he, you know, he was married and had kids and couldn't do it. But my point is, you know, Adrian Smith used to tell us a lot about Iron Maiden, the you know, inner workings of Maiden.
Mhm.
And, you know, and so I was like, so what's the deal with Bruce and Paul? And he said, there is no deal. He said, they're best of friends. He said, they're good buddies. They're always talking to each other on the phone. And when Bruce comes off tour, he's talking with Paul Diano and Paul's talking with him. And, you know, it's just a friendship. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And I said, well, then why, you know, and he said, because it keeps both names in the news. So Maiden doesn't say anything about it, and Paul doesn't say anything about it. And they just let it lie and let the news, you know, and it keeps both their names in the news. And I was like, okay, that sort of makes sense. Then I started figuring out stuff about the music business as I went later on, and I was like, that makes perfect sense, actually.
Yeah, Adrian Smith left after Seventh Son, actually. He wasn't on No Prayer for the Dying.
He did. Yeah.
It wasn't quite after. He did contribute to Prayer for the Dying or Fear of the Dark a little bit. But he was like frustrated. He was like, this isn't going where I wanted to go. And they were like, well, there's the door. No one's keeping you here. And everyone made that like an acrimonious split. It wasn't.
No.
He was just like, they were like, hey, buddy, if you're not happy, we're not going to keep you here. And he just like walked away. And he's like, okay, I'm going to go kind of do my own stuff. And like Tim said, he was like striking up his own solo stuff.
Mhm.
And then the next time I heard from Adrian and Bruce together was Accident of Birth, which was a Bruce Dickinson solo. And I was like, oh my God, he's back. This is Adrian. Oh my God, his solos, his riffs, everything's there. But the whole Paul Diano, Bruce Dickinson thing, yeah, man, it was nothing more than a media hype. And I think Tim's right. They just like, we're going to let it lie here. We're going to let it lie here. And we're just going to get our names.
And whoever talks about it, talks about it. You know, and it keeps both
you
names
also would
alive.
you would also know that like text would be taken out of context. They would say Bruce Dickinson said this about Paul, and Paul said this about Bruce, And it was like, no, you didn't see the whole conversation. You didn't see the whole thing. But I think they both said, fuck it. Let's just let it roll. Like you said, Paul's going to be in the press. He's going to get some notoriety, and Maiden didn't really need any, but they're going to get some anyway. So who cares?
You can never not have enough publicity. You know,
All
especially
publicity is
free
good
publicity.
Our Facebook groups keep that alive just about every day. There's somebody bitching about Bruce and Paul. Absolutely. Yeah.
And at some point, is any of it bad? No.
No,
Because
I like both of them. I don't like Blaze, but I like Bruce and Paul.
what do you think
Well,
about
like I said,
that?
I used to hear more crap about Clive Burr and Nico McBrain than
Oh, I think Clive Burr was the best
Paul
main
and
drummer.
and Bruce.
I think Bruce is the best main singer. That's just me.
Yeah, Nico, I think, was technically better, but Clive was just, I don't know.
Well, you know
we
what's
talked about
amazing about
we talked about it
Nico?
on the other podcast. 1 second, I'm sorry, Mooger. Talked about it on our 3 Shots Pound podcast. Clive had memorable riffs. Nico didn't have too many memorable riffs, like Running Free, Murders in the Room Work. Those Clive Burr riffs were just so memorable. Nico, great drummer, but nothing really stands out as far as riffs, maybe.
Yeah,
I'm
Phantom of
thinking
the
about-
Opera.
You're so
Yeah.
wrong, Jerry.
You know.
You are so wrong.
No, I don't
Wrathchild.
think so.
You're so
Wrathchild, come
wrong.
on. you know?
Revelations
Okay.
with Nico.
Hey,
Nico,
hey,
the
hey.
Revelations.
Run to the Hills.
Clear
I
the
mean,
room.
come on.
Clear the room for a minute. How does Flight of Icarus end?
Well, I'm not saying that the drumming's bad. I'm just saying, if you're talking about memorable drum riffs,
Really?
you can sing Clive. You can almost sing a drum
You
riff
can
with Clive.
sing a drum
Running
riff?
Free. Dun 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 dun. I mean,
Especially the
Murders in the-
start of Running Free. when it's
Murders in
just
the
him.
Room Work. Yeah, Murders in the Room Work, how that starts out, the drumming. Fucking Run to the Hills. I mean, basic drum sound, but it's so fucking
Right,
memorable.
right.
You know what I mean? So that's why.
Okay,
you know,
I'm going to surrender to that, Jerry, because I think you're right.
But nothing against Nico. He's a fucking fantastic drummer. Absolutely. I mean,
Well,
probably
maybe
But
better.
the dude, I just saw a live clip from a very recent show, which he did that tribute. Man, Nico has had a stroke, and he's still playing
Absolutely.
his ass off. He's worked through
Maiden
it.
has-
He's worked through it.
Maiden has
and
been-
Clive, unfortunately, he had to like resign because he had a fucking horrible disease.
Yeah.
ASL or something, or MS or
Yeah.
something like that.
So
But
he
Maiden,
knew.
for the most part, when they've had to replace people, have come up with some awesome replacements.
Yeah.
Except for Janet.
Hey,
Except
man.
for
Yeah.
Janet.
Yannick is
Yeah,
horrible.
I don't
Let-
need to
let
see
me-
his nutsack any more than I did at.
Hey, if you're
these
lucky, you might
shows.
catch a guitar. You're in the audience.
But Yannick
Um,
is horrible.
The cool thing about Iron Maiden is they could have easily said, "Fuck you, Jonick. Adrian's back in the band." What they do, they kept
But
all
they
three.
kept it a 3 guitar
Fucking cool.
track. Yep,
I
yep,
thought that
yep.
was cool of them to do that. They could have easily
And
said no to Adrian.
Janik
Smith.
is a lovely man, but he has to put his foot up in his spandex in
Yeah.
front of my face, and I'm looking at his balls. I'm like, oh god damn it, Janik. It's like,
So-
get
Yeah,
it-
his
Maiden
stuff on
became-
his stuff on No Prayer for the Dying and Fear of the Dark
So
is
Maiden
really good.
became a southern rock band, is what you're saying.
well, it's a southern UK rock band. Yes, it is. They're from Birmingham.
All right, well, let's get off of Iron Maiden. Rip Paul Diano, but something came out today. Alex Van Halen is plagiarizing someone else's Van Halen book, and also Sammy put up a fucking video. I said fucking. Called out Alex for lying in his book. Alex said in an interview that Sammy freed up Eddie because he plays guitar and keys and gave him more room with his voice. And Alex in that book, Brothers, said that he didn't do that. But why? And Alex came up with that video, old interview,
Oh my
where Alex
fucking
did say
God.
that.
You know what?
He did rip off some stories from this one.
He
right
did
here,
rip,
Eruption.
rip off the Eruption book.
You know what?
Yeah.
This book hasn't even fucking come out, and I'm already
It is-
so
it
fucking
is
sick
out.
of
It
It's
is
not
out.
even funny.
It's out. It just came out. People are getting it. I haven't ordered it yet. I don't know if I'm going to or not. I don't know.
Jesus Christ! Let lion dogs
No,
lie.
but the thing is, Sammy called him out on his bullshit.
Because Sammy's got nothing else going on with
Well,
himself.
Sammy is selling out freaking tours
Dude,
right now.
Sammy's out there working hard.
He's working
Yeah,
his ass
what
off,
tour?
man.
The best of both worlds tour.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
his stuff with Van Halen, not David Lee Roth. And you see David Lee Roth sitting there looking like an idiot doing videos
He's
right now.
keeping. I think Sammy is doing right by Van Halen
He is.
by doing right of what they did. And
I think Sammy's
David
living
Lee
off
Roth
their
is
name.
making a damn fool of himself doing all this jazz dancing to Dance the Night Away or whatever the hell that video was. That dude's embarrassing.
I think Sammy's living off of Van Halen name.
Well,
He's
whatever.
David Lee Roth.
He's living off Van
Okay.
Halen, but he's doing it better than David Lee Roth.
But at least
Hey.
David Lee Roth, the songs were his to start with.
Yeah,
You
but
need me
these
to
are
smack
songs
you on the
Any
head
way
right
he
now?
wants to. They're his songs.
I'm
But
just
these are
saying, David
songs
Lee
too
Roth
that he's
would
playing.
be nothing without Steve Vai, Billy Sheehan, and Eddie Van Halen. He was, and Jason Becker. Freaking David Lee Roth used great musicians to make him look good. Yes, he
But you
read
still
great.
got to write the songs.
The thing is,
Okay. Shut up, everybody, just for 1 second. I never get any traction on this shit.
get your own traction, man.
I
Take
don't have any traction. I'm going to give you mine right
Mooger,
now.
you have traction, bitch.
I don't.
Yes,
Because
you
I'm
do.
always a little. Everywhere I go, I'm the guy that always has to shout to be heard.
No, you
And
don't.
all you guys are just like fucking. I heard.
I'm trying not to say that word anymore.
I'm fucking with you, buddy.
Yeah,
Just
you're
fucking with you. Fucking fucker. So anyway.
Fucking.
Okay. You guys are all saying all this shit about Van Halen. Why is everybody split so much between a Sammy and a Hagar? Sammy Hagar and David Lee Roth. Sammy Hagar and David Lee Roth. Who gives a fuck? I grew up with the both of Best World, by the way. I was able to grow up with the first Van Halen records by my brother who had it in the house, and I fucking loved them. And then when I was old enough to start purchasing my own shit, that was Sammy Hagar, and I fucking loved it. I don't care if it's shit what books say or what brothers say. Man, he has a right to say that. That was his brother, and that was his life. And let that be. But for me, I got the best of both worlds. I'm sorry. I got Roth, I got Hagar. For me, it's just two different bands. The same band with the same name, but two different fucking things. I got
I'm not a fan.
So much good music out of it. And I don't know what the fucking bullshit is that we have to shit on one and shit on another. No one needs shit on.
I ain't shitting on any of them. I think Sammy gets a shit thing. That's all I'm saying.
No, one thing I will agree with that people need to realize that Eddie is just as responsible for that era as Sammy is.
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong with that era? What's wrong with that era?
There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, there is too many. There were keyboards in 1984. I get that, but man, all those songs on fucking
there was fucking keyboards on the album before that, and the album before
what,
that.
Diver Down? Like what?
Yes. Listen.
What?
Yeah, there was keyboards on Fair Warning, for Christ's sakes. One foot out the door.
Diver Down.
But they weren't synthesizers. They weren't synthesizers
prevalent
though.
Like they were on 51. Look, 5150 is a synth album.
I will say yes. Currently, Sammy as a performer is better than Dave right now. Absolutely live. I mean, you can't. If you think that's not true, then you're totally fucking retarded. Excuse the. I don't mean that in a bad way, but I don't know. There's just two different attitudes in Van Halen. It's like you had the fun attitude with the original, the six pack.
What do you think kind of attitude do you need to have when you take over David Lee Roth?
I'm just telling you. And I will say this also, no matter who took over for David Lee Roth, that person would not have been liked.
So you're supposed to be humble, or are you supposed to be fucking big?
Like you said before. You did say it was two different bands, but the same. Right. You said that yourself, Mooger. So
Yes,
there's
I
the
did.
answer right there. There's just
But
something.
personality-wise, am I supposed to step into Van Halen and be like quiet little
Hey!
mouse?
I'm not saying don't like Sammy Hagar. I just don't like him with
Am I
Van
supposed
Halen.
to be a quiet little mouse stepping into Van Halen?
No.
No,
Say what
I'm
you like.
supposed to be like, I am the new fucking coming. I am the second coming of the Lord. I need to be here. You bitches better love me. That's how somebody has to feel David Lee Roth.
No, I don't feel that way at all. And and I agree with you. That's another argument that's just as old as the fucking Iron Maiden one. It really is. I don't say there and comment how bad Sammy Hagar is every day of the week, like some people do. And that's their thing, so that's fine. But I just prefer I don't like different kind of truth. So I'm not just a Dave Nutswinger. And I like I like VH3 now. I never liked that before, but I like it now.
VH3 is amazing.
But you have to admit, come on now. You put the original 6 against every Van Halen Sammy Hagar song. Come on, man.
No,
Sammy Hagar.
I'm sorry.
You know the Van Halen fans I like who like the music.
That's fine.
Not the front man. And they don't judge it by the front man.
I saw for Unlawful Carnal Knowledge. I saw that tour. I went to it. I paid money for it. So
because Collective Soul opened.
I saw 5150.
I didn't want to get laid. I wanted to get laid that night. That's why I went. But
yeah,
I mean, dude, if you fucking like them, good. I just don't.
Yeah, but I just want to say one thing that I've been thinking about, and I broke it down. The 4 Sammy Hagar albums that they made with Van Halen is better than Diver Down.
I like Diver Down.
I don't
yeah,
think
that's
I don't
a
think
no-brainer.
so.
Hold on. Is 5150 better than Diver Down?
Yeah.
No.
Absolutely not.
Yes.
No.
Not even close.
Yes,
Absolutely
it is.
not.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
No, it's not. Not even close.
Oh God. Okay. It's
Not
OU
even
812 better
remotely
than
close.
Diver Down.
I'm gonna bring out the pool stick. I'm gonna bring out the pool stick.
And I'll tell you something else about 5150.
Yeah.
Alex Van Halen went back Van Halen 2. Okay, say that time. If Alex Van Halen was alive back in Van Halen 2 and heard 5150, he'd walk into Alex Van Halen on 5150 and punch him right in the head.
The thing is,
right.
Alex Van
Hold on,
Halen
one
said
thing.
that Alex Van Halen said, which Sammy Hagar put up on Instagram, that with Sammy, that Sammy could play guitar and help Eddie and helped him with the vocals, and so Eddie could play keyboards a lot more.
Wow,
That's all well and good.
Well, Alex said that, but then he goes in his book and says that Sammy sucked, kind of. That is bullshit. He's being a
But
hypocrite.
also, you have to remember, Van Halen was also responsible for this little rift, because I remember before 5150 came out, they were doing press junkets when it was just getting ready to come out. So they were hyping everybody up. And they were saying, they were putting, like David Lee Roth, they were putting him down. Yep. And they weren't even mentioning him. They weren't even, and it's like, this is the guy that got you here in the first place. You can say what you want about him afterwards,
there in the first
but
place.
he got you here, and you can't even acknowledge that he exists.
Yeah, but they did the same thing to Sammy. When Sammy left the band, Alex and Eddie talked shit about Sammy.
Yeah,
they called him lazy, and that he was no good for nothing.
All right, let me get back to 5150 and Diver Down. Okay.
Right. You talk shit about Mike?
Hold on. Take the song "Oh Pretty Woman."
Yeah.
Now, that song is played more on the radio than any song on 5150 still to this date.
Come
on.
I don't know about that in my market.
I don't think so.
Okay, but
Dreams is played more than Pretty Woman.
I don't hear that song at all anymore on the radio. I hear Why Can't This Be Love? I hear that sometimes.
Okay.
But that's it. I hear Pretty Woman every day. I put on fucking something on Sirius radio or regular radio around here.
I'm not terrestrial radio, dude.
Terrestrial radio. There you go.
Thank you.
When I hear 5150, all I think is, how the mighty have fallen.
Really? Wow. I don't think so at all. Because it's not like Sammy brought keyboards with him. No, because it was going to be done anyway.
No, I said it was just as Eddie's
on 5150. That's all that's made. You can't hear a guitar, for Christ's sakes.
Well, you
Eddie is playing his ass off on that album. What are you talking
Yeah.
about?
Please, compared to Fair Warning, stop it right there.
Again, they were going into the late 80s. Change had to come. They
Okay.
couldn't be sounding like 1979 and
Why? Because there's no
1989.
guitar players in the 90s?
Well, of course there's, but there's a
I don't
change in music.
understand
But there's a
why
change
that
in
has to
music.
change.
Huh?
Shane's about ready to have an aneurysm. Let him speak, man.
All right.
No, look, there's
It had to change
the
because
time,
Sammy
the
came on
time
board
when I
and
was
couldn't do the
in
David Lee
sixth,
Roth parts.
I was in 6th grade, and Why Can't You Be Loved come out. Down, 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 down. Oh my God, that was Van Halen for me at that point, and I hated 1984 as a kid. But I was also, you got to think I was a kid. I didn't know any better. I hadn't gone back in the bullshit. Okay, so forgive me. And at that point, I loved the Sammy era, and that was like okay, I can dig this Sammy era. And then fast forward when I was 40, 41, whatever, I was playing in a cover band. And we did Why Can't This Be Love? And I got to do Sammy's like da 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 da. I got to do that part. And I had a good singer, had a good drummer, had a good keyboard player, bass player. Dude, I was in my zone. So there is always a special part of music we love. And I know, Tim.
That's
You
right.
just you don't like it. You don't like it. That's fine. That's okay.
I remember I bought 5150
Yeah.
at a local record store, and I was in the
And why did you buy it if you knew it was going to be
because
shit?
I wanted to hear what Eddie was doing now at the time. So I was like, I'll give him a shot. Okay. I put it on. I took it out of the case and I put it into the car, into the CD player.
Right.
And I listened to it, and I listened to that first fucking track. And I took it out and I put it back into the CD player, and I whizzed it across the parking lot. That's the last I'd seen of it.
Yeah, I bought the cassette and I remember putting it in there, and I'm like, I heard the dum 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 dum.
And I was like, what the fuck is that?
Just didn't do it.
Fucking great song is what that fucking is.
Yeah,
It's a
I
great
agree.
song.
I agree.
It's what that is,
Hold on.
motherfucker.
I
I
love
love that
Summer
song.
Nights. I do like Summer Nights. That's a great fucking tune off that.
I love Good Enough. I'm
Dave,
like, hello, baby.
I could see Dave singing Summer Nights. You know,
But
that's
I
probably why
can't
like
see
it.
I can't see Van Halen playing.
I would
just a
believe
gigolo.
that Summer Nights was actually written for Dave to sing.
It
I
was.
think that was
Gigolo.
a back song.
That's what bothered me about Dave, was that he always had to put some fucking show tune on there, just a gigolo or some dancing, some Frank Sinatra.
Yeah,
Yes.
because Dave is just a
Yeah.
goddamn gigolo. He's the one
Yeah,
who
but
derailed
Just the
everything.
Jiggle was a
He's
solo
a
album.
fucking pussy.
Had
I
nothing to do with
that's
fucking
Van Halen.
hate him.
I know that was on Edelman Smile, but sometimes he would add his own little
Crazy from the Heat.
dick.
Like Happy
Van
Trails.
Halen albums.
Happy
Oh,
Trails.
let's see who didn't let the tribute to Eddie happen. Oh, let's see who that is.
Hey, I'm never
sorry.
saying that he's an asshole.
I'm
I have
sorry,
no qualm
Dave.
saying that.
I'm sorry, Dave.
Absolutely, he's an asshole, and I think he's always been an asshole. But it does not take away how I
No,
feel about his music.
Because
better
when
than
you
Sammy.
listen to like DOA and stuff like that, those are great songs, man. Great
Well,
crap.
you know,
Great
if you look at it, yeah,
Dave does a great
Dave's
job.
a complete touch hole, but Eddie weren't exactly the nicest guy on the planet either.
No.
So it's like two egos butting heads. You know, it's like you're supposed to be a band.
So
you know.
I would really like to have a counseling session on why Dave and Sammy can't be celebrated in the same conversation.
I like them both.
I like them both too.
Andy has the right point. Mark has the right point. But these other two just can't get the fucking head.
What's
around
wrong
it.
with my points? What did I say that was so far out of point? You said it
didn't
yourself.
say anything was out of
Hold on.
point.
You said it yourself. It's two different bands, but the same.
Right.
You said that.
Yes.
I
So
think I think
the
they would have
answer
done
is right
themselves.
there.
I think they would have done themselves much better when Sammy came on board if they'd renamed the band.
I don't
Well,
think
Because so
you got
many
two
people
Van, you got
disregard.
two Van Halens in that band. Why would you name it Van Hagar?
The,
Because it
ma-
wasn't
the,
Van
me-
Halen.
the media
No.
did rename it Van Hagar. They did. So
Man,
Yeah, but that was the
and
media.
I
That wasn't
agree
the
with
band.
Bob Hay. It's fucking Van Halen.
you guys stick with the brand. And it's the
no,
brothers,
they want
the
from
drummer and the
wings to
guitar player.
rings. A rings to wings actually is what they want too on the logo. They changed a lot of shit up. So I don't know.
I don't
I'm
know.
not-
About, I don't know if y'all are watching this game, but I hate when they bring in a starter to do relief work.
Oh, you're
3
talking
to
about
2.
the
It's still
Yankees?
still 3 to 2, right?
It's
Yeah.
3 to 2, but they're bringing in
Ohtani's
extra
up.
players.
Mark, we are never gonna end up in a neutral spot on Van Halen. What else you got?
You guys are.
I love Van Halen, but I'm just gonna say that Alex Van Halen lied in his book. Sammy Hagar called him out on it,
He with the fucking Van Halen.
and
Sammy Hagar lied when he said that he outsold David Lee Roth stuff.
no, Sammy
Yeah,
Sammy
he
said
did.
that he put in his book that without the Van Halen stuff, that it wasn't Van Halen without Sammy Hagar, but Alex had in an interview that Sammy put out that he said that Sammy freed up Eddie to play more keyboards and he had better vocals and that he played guitar to help Eddie expand the music.
Right, but Sammy also said that he outsold DLR era Van
did.
Halen.
Oh,
He
he
did.
didn't.
No,
I
he
agree
didn't.
with that. He didn't.
Not even
Yeah,
close.
I agree
No,
with
that's
that.
not close.
Oh, I'm sorry. He
He
outsold his tequila company for 80 billion. So yeah.
80 billion?
No,
Billion?
it was like 80 million.
80 billion? Fuck, man. That guy would have to work. I mean, doesn't have to work again now. But
And now
I
he's
don't
doing
think
his
that's
rum and he's doing all his shit, man. But
hey, I like one of his tequilas, so he's not totally bad for me. So
But I don't think that's
the Santo,
he's
the
a fucking
Santo,
clown. You have to admit, come on, guys. You have to admit the shit that he's been saying the last few years are totally.
they have all been clowns. David Lee
Yeah,
Roth
but
is
come
a
on.
huge clown, man.
Oh,
David
come
Lee
on,
Roth is a
Sam.
huge clown. Come on.
I don't believe any of that shit when they said Sammy was by Eddie's side when he was about ready to die and they made up. I don't believe that shit at all.
I think Sammy
No,
was
no,
telling the truth on that. You don't hear
I don't.
David talking about he was with Eddie when he died.
David, of course not. David makes it clear how he feels about Eddie.
Yeah,
I mean, he's not gonna.
it's all
Okay.
about it's all about
Did
Dave, man.
Did
Okay.
Dave say afterwards? Oh, we made up on the bed and blah 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 blah, like Sammy did. No,
Hey, because it's all about Dave. It isn't Sammy.
of
Doesn't put
course it is. It's about Dave. I know it is.
Of course it is.
But
But
Dave,
with the
at least you
Van
know what you.
Halen-
At least you know. Has Dave lied?
Yeah, Dave has lied a lot, dude.
How has he lied?
He's lied a lot, dude.
He's boastful. He's fucking an egotistic maniac. But has he really
Do you
lied?
understand what happened what he did when he was Alex
Ooh!
about a tour?
What?
What did Otani
I
do?
haven't heard that.
Andy?
He
Anyway,
out of
Let's wrap this shit up.
He fired out?
Now, come on. Fuck that game. Let Mooger talk. I want to hear this.
I
We're
ain't
having a
gonna
good
fuck that
discussion.
game. But go ahead.
Come on, Mooger. Come on. Bring it on. Go.
Andy, go.
Oh no, you go ahead. I'll talk about it later.
No, because it was, Ed
Sorry.
Alex was like, "Hey, we want to do this reunion, Dave, and we're going to do this, but we got to do some kind of tribute to my brother in the middle of it, or flash something on the screen, do something like this." Everything was all coming together, and I guess Dave just flipped a fucking switch. He was like, "Fuck you," and it just went all to hell. And Alex was like, being the pacifist and nice guy he is, was like, "Well, we still talk and everything, but I just don't know what that was all about." So that's how the reunion did not come together. It's because
Yeah, but that's Dave being Dave, though.
What's that?
That's Dave being Dave.
Yeah,
Was it an
Dave's
asshole?
an asshole.
Was it
So Dave
exactly?
being Dave
I've said that. I've said it 1,000 times. He is an
excusable?
asshole.
That's excusable?
No, I think it's kind of fucked up, but it's Dave though. I don't
The
like the
one-
guy personally.
The
I
one
probably
guy in Van Halen that's ever been in Van Halen that I have the most respect for and only respect for is Mikey.
But
that's a
He's kept
different
his
story.
head pretty much.
everybody shits on Mikey because
They
he
do.
goes with Sammy.
Yeah,
Oh,
they do.
well, you wouldn't have respect for Mikey because he's with Hagar. So
I don't care where he went. But he's kept his head about him. He hasn't said any bullshit about
Yeah,
anybody
right.
in the band.
right.
He's kept
You're-
his mouth
Mitch
shut.
LaFon, Mitch
100% correct.
LaFon is the real fucking voice of Van Halen.
Walk off.
You
The
know, and it's
Dodgers?
like,
Yep.
Freeman.
Freeman?
Yep.
He
Fuck
hit at,
you,
he hit at three run.
Yankees.
Nestor Cortez, you never bring in a starter out of the bullpen. You just don't. Just don't.
All right.
Oh,
anyway,
man,
back to Van
I'm
Halen.
behind you, Andy, because I'm watching it on. Oh shit! He hit a home run. Oh my god!
All right, whoop de fucking do. Now let's get back to the show.
All right, go back.
Okay. Are we gonna stick on this Van Halen thing and move on, or what are we gonna
Move
do
on.
next?
Move on. What else you got, Jerry? Talk about shit.
No, nothing really. I thought we were gonna talk about Maiden and the Van Halen thing. I knew that would take up a lot of time.
Talk about well, we got like.
Hey,
Corner.
Sabotage
What about
is-
Lou Graham getting
Sabotage is coming
disrespected?
back. Sabotage is coming back.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this year. I mean, there was some decent stuff. I thought Peter Frampton brought the house down on the show, personally, myself.
Oh god, he was amazing.
I don't think having Demi Lovato and Dua Lipa, which are fine singers, don't get me wrong, but them had no idea being up there doing Foreigner songs and the Cher song, maybe Dua could have sang that, but Demi Lovato up there doing Foreigner, and then Kelly Clarkson coming out and singing I Don't Know, I Want to Know What Love Is was just awful. She way oversang that song.
And she doesn't have to oversing. I think she's great.
But
She doesn't have to do that.
let me admit, Lou Grant actually sounded good, and I was surprised. I mean, it wasn't classic Lou Grant, don't get me wrong, but when he came out there, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be a fucking train wreck. But he sounded good. Good for
Dude,
him.
I
man.
saw him 2 years ago. It was amazing.
Hey, Dua Lupe.
Dua Lupe?
I don't know how. Who?
She's
Dua
hot.
Lupe? She sucks.
Dua Lupe.
She's hot, though.
What about her?
Anyway, she actually came out and sung naked without auto-tune, without laptops, without anything, because she was so flat.
Oh, I thought you meant
She was
naked,
so
naked.
sharp and flat on that
was.
fucking vocal. And I was like, thank you. At least you're fucking hot.
It was
And
kind of a
you
knockoff because the Cher song, she started the auto-tune shit with that Believe song, so it was kind of
Yeah.
funny, actually, if you think about it.
Well, she
like that Believe
wasn't
song.
using anything on that. I don't know about the Cher moment, but when she was out on her own, I could tell she was hitting flat, she was in sharp. She was like, okay, that's a fucking vocal. And you're fucking hot. And
She's
I don't care.
gorgeous. Yeah, she's
That's true.
gorgeous, man. Absolutely
I don't
stunning.
care. As far as I'm concerned, there should be no Rock and Roll Hall of Fame anyway. So,
Music Hall of Fame is what it should be called.
yeah, it should be called Music Hall of Fame. We're going to have one, but
Tim, it
Really,
doesn't matter.
because
It's not
all-
rock. What
it's-
would you consider rock and roll?
it's all
What would you
opinion.
consider rock and roll?
What would I consider rock and roll?
Yes,
Led
sir.
Zeppelin's rock and roll.
Give it.
Led Zeppelin's rock and roll. Black Sabbath's
No,
rock.
I'm not saying give bands. I'm saying what would you consider rock and roll? A
and roll
band
is
that
more-
does a certain thing to a certain thing.
Rock and roll is more attitude than it is
Right.
music.
Yes.
So I mean,
Yes.
like Chuck Berry was rock and roll, even though he
Chuck
wasn't.
Berry is the
Fuck
king
you.
of fucking rock and
Give
roll.
me what the conspiracy theory is. Is it what I think it is, and then all the way down, we think rock and roll, or it's influence. It's influence.
I just don't think there should be a music hall of fame or a rock and roll hall of fame because it's
It
all
shouldn't be
opinion.
called rock and roll. It should be called just the Music Hall of Fame.
But it's all opinion.
It is.
All
Yeah, hey, Tim, I keep telling you that it's all opinion. You keep saying your opinion is the best.
well, yeah, of course it is.
No, it isn't.
I'm not going to think your opinion's the best.
Oh, my opinion
But I
rules.
have one.
But
And that could be my rock and roll ego.
dude, you hate a lot of shit I like, but I love a lot of shit you like. You know, it's like Andy, I like a lot of shit you like, but I don't like a lot of shit you don't like. You know,
You don't like a lot.
It's-
Here you guys go. I love Ghost. Go ahead, guys. Give it to me.
fuck Ghost.
They're
Go
good
ahead.
pop band.
Get your revenge. Get your revenge. This
What do
shit
you
about
think
Alright,
about
pop
Ghost,
band, I guess.
Andy? What do you think about Ghost? I think I've
Oh,
never
I'm
heard.
so close.
Oh, who, me?
Yeah, what do you think about Ghost, man?
I guess you've never heard me when you've asked me several times about Ghost. I
He
really
doesn't
don't
like
care
it.
about the band at all. They don't have.
Give it to me. Give it to me.
I just don't. It's like their vocals doesn't match the music. I think they're kind of posers in my opinion. It doesn't match for me, and it just doesn't grab me at all.
I agree. I have no opinion on them whatsoever, so I could care.
There
one
you
way or-
guys go. Come on, let me have it, man. I'm bent over. Give it to me.
Why do you like Ghost, bitch?
Because I love him. They're Tobias is a very talented individual. He's a great
But you
songwriter.
don't like Duran Duran and The
great-
Cure. It's fucking
great-
like. I said
I'm a
fucking.
guitar player, and Tobias Forge writes some fucking amazing fucking guitar riffs, dude.
Well,
I haven't heard one, but
I'll give
that's
him the
okay.
guitar riff, but the thing is, I'm saying they sound like New Wave and Duran Duran, but you don't like Duran Duran and The Cure.
Yeah,
That
I
doesn't
don't
make-
like. I don't like fucking Milky Ways, but I like Snickers. I
That
mean,
doesn't make
it's-
sense.
It
to
doesn't
me.
matter just because of a genre of a band. You know, I don't like I say, I don't like all rock bands.
Yeah.
I don't like all alternative bands. I don't like all new wave bands. There's bands I just don't like.
Well, I mean, Roy Clark was a great guitar player, but I hate country music. So
Thank you.
Right? I agree with you on that, Tim. Roy Clark, I loved Hee Haw. I watch Hee Haw all the time.
yeah, but I
I
hate
used to watch
country
that with
music.
my
So
Hee
No
Haw
fit-
was amazing.
Yeah.
You know, I love
Yeah,
that.
there just is bands. I don't hate Duran Duran. I like some of their songs. I don't like Oingo Boingo. I will tell you that much. I don't.
What the fuck is wrong with the Oingo
I
Boingo?
know,
I said fuck.
but I like some Duran Duran songs. I love the Wedding album. I think that's a great album. I do.
That's not their Notorious is their best album.
No, I think the Wedding
Oh,
album is
please.
my best. I was surprised when I heard Ordinary World. When I first heard it, I'm like, who is this? It's pretty good. They said it was Duran Duran, I was like,
Dude,
wow.
that's a great song, but the thing
Pretty
is,
fucking good.
Notorious and Rio is their best albums.
The only song I like by Duran Duran is Relax. Relax. Don't
That's
do
off
it.
Seven and the Ragged Tiger, dude.
Relax, don't
That
do it.
was
That's
tough
Frankie Goes to
back,
Hollywood.
I'd like to know how the fuck we got
Oh,
on.
no. I think you're talking about the Reflex.
No,
Reflex.
Relax
is
is
Frankie Goes to
Hollywood.
Hollywood.
Well, then I don't like anything by Duran Duran.
Oh, you're fucked up, Andy. You're fucked up, Andy. You don't like the Reflex?
That song sucks. Yeah, that
you
song
don't,
sucks.
you don't like A View to a Kill?
Okay.
No, that song sucks too. That
Who
sucks too.
said relax, get to it? That was fucking
When you wanna get
to
Duran
it.
Duran,
That
that
was
was Frankie Goes to
that isn't
Hollywood.
Duran Duran, that's Frankie Goes to Hollywood, man.
Welcome to the Pleasure Dome. I mean, I didn't have that album.
I have that on vinyl.
Oh boy.
But no, just because a band's in the same genre as another band doesn't mean I have to fucking like them.
Do you like the psychedelic furs?
To be honest with you, I'm not 100% familiar with them.
Have
I
you
probably
heard?
won't. If they're like,
have you heard "Pretty in Pink"?
I hate his voice.
You don't.
It's like that one song. It's like that one song. Who sings that song? The Church, I think. Under the Milky Way. That
I
song.
like the Church. That
I
one
don't hate.
song.
I like that song, but
Hey.
I won't go. I like the fucking. I'll stop the world and melt with you. I like that
Oh,
song too.
that's great.
I like that song. What's that song where he goes, I just died in your arms
Cutting
tonight.
Crew. Cutting
Cutting
Crew.
Crew.
I like that song, but I don't like the whole album.
Yeah, I mean, there's songs I like and don't like from different genres, man. That's why I'm just giving you the answer. You said, how come I can like Ghost and not like Duran Duran? You know,
Well, they're not even the same at all.
I don't think so
Well,
either. Yeah.
Duran Duran and Ghost have that like alternative.
I'm surprised Mark hasn't brought up the ABBA fucking thing yet.
Oh,
I like ABBA.
I hate ABBA.
But anyway, all right.
But the thing is, if you like ABBA, enjoy ABBA. You know what I sang to my lead the other day. You
I
guys
like Alanis Morissette. I like Alanis Morissette.
I like Alanis Morissette.
I mean,
I never said I didn't like Alanis Morissette. But I brought it to my lead the other day. He was like in a bad mood, and I sang the Carpenters to him. You know, I hate the Carpenters, but I sang it to him to get him happy.
Why
Which
do
song was it?
Why do brothers fall in love? Whatever. I sang him fucking Carpenters. I hate the Carpenters. I was stressed the fuck out. I said fuck. But I said I sang that
fuck
to
all
him.
night long.
I like
Hey.
Air Supply too. Another band I like. Nobody
Oh,
likes.
fuck Air Supply.
You
I
don't
got
like
laid so many. I got laid so many times because of that band, so I can't hate them. All right.
You got a wife now, dude. You don't need to be laid by
She
Air
did too,
Supply.
I'm sure.
Air Supply was so
I
good.
love Men at Work.
Actually, she was one of them.
You got her with White Birds. Walk off for the Dodgers, Freddie Freeman, and he had a bad ankle. I just got to say that again. That is great. Fuck the Yankees. Fuck Mark Dahl.
I'm happy for you. I'm glad. I want the Dodgers to win. So
I do too. We're 8-2 against this. You know,
I'm not rooting for either team. I just want to watch a good World Series. It doesn't matter to me.
That was a good game tonight. You have to admit, it was a good game.
That was a great game.
But all right, what do we got next? We got anything on the docket, or are we done?
Dude, just pick it up. Dude, tell me shit you want to talk about.
No, let's listen to the Hall of Fame. People were talking about it. Talked about Alex Van Halen. If there was one band, so let's play a little hypothetical here before we go for the night. If there was one band that could do one show, and you would go to any band in history, which one would you go to, Martin?
Rush.
One band.
Rush.
Oh, come on. You've never seen before. Let's just say you've never seen before.
Oh, I've never seen before. I go for Led Zeppelin.
Over the Beatles.
Over the Beatles. Well, no. You just like put me in a box there, dude. I would see Led Zeppelin over the Beatles. I'm sorry. I love the Beatles, but Led Zeppelin, because you couldn't hear the Beatles because all the bitches were screaming.
What about you, Tim? Come on, what's your dream band?
One band that I'd never seen before that I'd go for one show, The Doors.
I agree with that also, man.
Nice pick.
What about
the
you?
Doors are very interesting live because I got a lot of their live stuff. I had a bootleg, and dude, that band would just, Morrison would just talk poetry while this band was just going off on all three instruments in all directions, and then they'll bring it back together. It's such a wonderful trip to go through. I love it.
What about you, Andy?
Oh, I've seen Paul twice, but still, it would have to be the Beatles.
I kind of figured you'd lean that way.
Without the screaming girls, come on. I mean, they wouldn't be screaming, and they would play, like 2.5 to 3 hours and pick everything out of all 12 albums. Unfortunately, they only toured for 3 years. Is all they toured for as a professional band, because of course they start off in in the late 50s, but let's talk about 63, and they stopped touring in 66. They didn't even tour for Revolver, Sgt. Pepper, the White Album, Magical Mystery Tour, Abbey Road, Let It Be. None of those they played on stage. That's crazy to think about these albums that are iconic milestones in the world of rock music, and they never played it live.
Especially we have an album called the Magical Mystery Tour. I mean, come on. The tour is in the title.
Instead,
what
they
about-
did a crappy movie. So,
Oh God. What about you, Mooger? Man, come on, give me a good one here.
Davey,
I've seen them before. Huh?
Huh?
The who? The
Who?
what?
What?
If you had to get one band that you would love to see that's not around, you never seen them before, who would it be?
Yes, I would like to see the Elvis comeback special 1969.
Yes.
That's interesting, actually.
I would like to see what's that guy's name? Chuck
So
Berry.
it'd be the 69 comeback special by Elvis, where we were sitting all around the stage and just watching him just jam, just open, no production.
I got that on vinyl. That
Yeah, so do I.
You got the
man.
Elvis 69 comeback special on vinyl?
Yeah.
Yes.
I
do.
am so jealous of you.
Yeah, dude,
It's
they're
not hard
like-
to find. It's not hard to find, man.
It
Yeah,
isn't? Send me
I'm about
the link.
like-
But I got
that.
the original from my dad from 1972.
I
I mean,
want
OGs
that.
are going to be hard to get.
My
yeah.
mom loved that.
Oh, dude, I bought mine like for $1 like last year.
Really? Send me
Yeah.
a link for that.
Oh, absolutely. It was a record store day deal. So
Oh, for me, I bought it at the Austin Record Convention.
nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
just went through. Oh, speaking of, I went record shopping in Phoenix a couple of days ago, and I bought some really cool stuff. One of them, I don't mean to cuss or say or
say fuck because I've say fuck.
but I bought a 12-inch single of Two Lives Cruise. We Want Some Pussy.
Oh,
Nice.
we want some pussy.
Dude, hold on.
Well, let me take that back. They're not as cheap as I thought they were. They're about $100 and something for the Elvis, the vinyl for that Elvis up.
Elvis, they
So you got a deal then. Andy got a deal.
Yeah, but mine's probably not original or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't look
want
hard.
to see Andy upon the streets, but he changes the itinerary.
Well, anyway, my band would be, of course, Led Zeppelin. Everybody knows that. I would have mortgaged my house to go see the O2 show in 2007, man.
Dude, 20 million people tried to put in for tickets to that. Fuck you, Oasis.
Yeah.
Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, but that wasn't original.
My favorite band of all time is Rush, but Led Zeppelin trumps them.
No, I hear you. I hear you, Tim. It's not the original band. I get that, but I'll give Led Zeppelin. Like I said, I'm gonna be hypocritical, and it's Led Zeppelin, and it did have blood in it still. So just like Skinner still had
I'm not
blood in
knocking
the band.
Jason in any form, but
You're right. But okay, I'll change that and say I'd love to see Pink Floyd around the Dark Side of the Moon or Wish You Were Here tour. That would have been awesome to see.
Yeah, I would like to see Rush during the 2112 tour.
No, but I've seen Pink Floyd, so I can't really fucking use that. Anyway, I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. But maybe I don't know, fuck. I gotta really think hard now because I've seen a lot of those bands that I'm thinking.
Dude, I would have liked to
I've
see
never
Black
seen Black
Sabbath.
Sabbath. I've never seen Black Sabbath. There you go with Ozzy. I still see Heaven and Hell.
I would have liked to see Black Sabbath with Dio and Heaven and Hell.
I've never seen that. I saw the Heaven and Hell tour. That didn't sell for shit in California when I was out there. It was half the arena was half empty.
That's the one that I have, though.
Yeah, that's the one. Oh, yeah. I think that went for a pretty penny.
I think Mooger passed out.
Yeah, there he is. That's a classic Mooger right there. There it is.
That's classic Mooger.
You gotta keep that as a screenshot. Anyway, let's get the fuck out of here, guys.
And it's so funny because I didn't want to look like a pervert when I bought that Two Live Cruise. So I asked my wife, I go, you go pay for it. I don't want to look like a pervert. She goes, I'm not going to pay for that. I said, fine, I'll go do it myself.
We want some pussy. Mooger is passing. Hey, Jana, come wake him up. Take him to bed. You know what? Thank you guys. After show, we got a lot of shit in. Mooger, Andy, Tim, you guys all rule. Jerry, you rule. Mooger, I love you, brother. Dodgers won the first game of the World Series. Fuck off, Yankees. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Later, guys. Y'all take care of yourselves, man.
Oh, well, the Yankees have a richer history, so okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
8-2
I'm out of here. Later.
8-2 against the Dodgers. Yes,
Bye-bye.
I know. Later.